Okay, welcome to WPLDN Daytime. Can anybody else hear me?
We can. I can hear you.
Twice.
I can hear you twice. I'm getting a bit of an echo somewhere, which I'm sure is me something.
Who's echoing?
Don't know.
Can
we get that test? It's that test. Well, we'll live with it. As long as Diane doesn't laugh twice, that'll blow our ears out.
But can't hear Diane at all.
Have we got some issues? Leah, would you mind just muting yourself?
Sure.
Are we hearing that through?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Cool.
Something coming through. Okay, sorry about that. We are live. WPLDN Daytime. Smooth as ever.
No one noticed.
Yeah, no one.
We'll cut that. We'll cut that in the edit. That'll be fine.
Absolutely. What can possibly go wrong? Okay, welcome to WPLDN Daytime. This is our trimmed down version of our WPLDN evening events. This is a shortened version. We have a very quick, we're going to do a very quick run through of our community announcements. We're going to do a very quick run through of some announcements, and then we are going to be bringing on one speaker this afternoon. Very much looking forward to hearing what Leo has to share with us. And that's not Leo who's on the screen currently. We actually have two Leos with us today.
My goodness, how will we cope?
That's right,
I mean, there's lots of people with the same name all the time. It's just this is the one time that of a rarity that there's two Leos.
Excellent. I just want to say a thank you to Leo, Diane, and Paul. Each of you giving your time. These events are made possible thanks to a team of volunteers that collectively make up what is known as Big Orange Heart. Big Orange Heart is a registered charity that supports and promotes positive well-being and mental health within the WordPress and the wider remote working communities. If you're interested in being part of that community, if you want to just connect with other community members that are made up predominantly of remote workers, then do feel free to come and join us. big.ht/join is the shortened URL that will get you to where you need to be. We've got an active Slack community. We've got a Facebook group. There's lots of places that you can connect with the community. I just want to give us an opportunity to quickly introduce ourselves. Leo, you're directly underneath me. Do you want to kick off?
I am. Normally I'm a bit lower than that. Normally I take up the slot that gets covered by the things. My name is Leo. I run a digital sports agency, Sotic, that delivers websites for governing bodies, federations, all in WordPress.
Excellent. Thank you. Diane, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Diane, and I'm a freelance web developer specializing in custom WordPress themes and plugins.
Awesome. Mr. Smart.
Afternoon. My name's Paul. Run an agency, Smart Digital, and also on the fundraising team for Big Orange Heart.
Excellent, thank you. And I'm Dan Maybe. I'm the founder of Big Orange Heart. I also run a digital agency called Blue 37 and generally kind of keep myself very busy in the event space at the moment, spending a lot of time in front of camera. You'd think by now we'd have this thing nice and smooth and running well without issues.
This is smooth compared to earlier. So.
Well, it's smoothing compared to where we were or where everybody was a number of years ago. So I think it's just amazing how the values and production values of everything are going up and up and up. And it's all fine. It's just we've got so many moving parts to all of these things sometimes that people don't see.
That's right. There's a lot going on behind the scenes, and I really appreciate everybody that's given their time to enable this to happen behind the scenes. I also am very grateful to our sponsors of these events. I just want to say a big thank you. So passionate about making the web a better place, Automatic. Your managed cloud hosting platform, Cloudways. A turnkey solution for product vendors, agencies, and developers, Dolly. Generate more leads for your digital agency, Funnel Packs. The WordPress multilingual plugin, Weglot. Tips, tricks, and resources for people who use WordPress. Winning WP. Your all-in-one WordPress platform, WP Dev. And the search engine optimization plugin for WordPress, Yoast. As I said, it's down to these companies supporting us and enabling us to be able to deliver Big Orange Heart. These companies each in their own way, in their own right, sponsor Big Orange Heart, which in turn enables us to deliver these events such as WPLDN Daytime. So I'd really appreciate it if you could, in your browsers, open up a new tab, and your mobile devices, open up a new tab right now and hit big.ht/thanks. That's going to put together a tweet which you can automatically send out and send a thanks to each and every one of these companies that are enabling us to deliver wellbeing support within the remote working communities. Also, I'd like to say big thank you to our supporters, Blue37, Paul Smart, and Sotic. As we've mentioned, these companies are giving time into delivering these events. So thank you very much. So on to this afternoon. Very much looking forward to this talk. Leo's going to be giving, and that's not the Leo that's on the screen, as we've already mentioned. Leo is going to be giving us an intro into the GraphQL API for WordPress, which I know includes a live demonstration. So what can possibly go wrong? But before that, it's our community announcements. So if you are over in live.bigorangeheart.org, joining us there, please do get into the live chat, drop any announcements that you may be aware of. These may be events that are going on, maybe events that are coming up. Share them. You may be aware of some, we may be looking for some training, maybe you're looking to hire, or as I've mentioned, to be hired. Drop those comments in the live chats. We will get them up on the screen. Just an opportunity for you to share any information with the community, really. So whilst we wait for those to come in, we've got a few to share ourselves. WP Cafe. Diane, did you want to just quickly mention something on this?
Yeah, so WP Cafe, I was lucky enough to, I think, speak at their first WP Cafe that was about developing with Gutenberg. And it's like a round table discussion, and it's a lovely experience because, High-Rise Digital, Keith and Mark are just lovely guys. And as I was saying, just genuinely interested in WordPress, the community and WordPress development and everything that's going on. And it's just a lovely experience. So one, if you have a chance to speak, I think that they put shout outs on Twitter, do get involved, but also they're just a joy to listen to as well. So they stream, it goes out on YouTube, so you can catch up with their previous ones on YouTube. Always worth looking at what's going on and what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So this is happening 13th of October. So a few days from now, 11 a.m. British summertime. So the theme for this session for WP Cafe is pricing WordPress products and services. So highly recommend taking a listen, so that if you hit highrise.digital/WP-cafe, you get some more details on that. Okay, there aren't too many that we're going to cover off here, because this is a slightly shortened, slightly trimmed down version of the event, so we need to make sure we can cover everything off. I just wanted to quickly mention, you may be aware that last week was Cloudflare's 10th birthday, and they tend to share some new innovative technologies and solutions and products that they provide through their birthday week. One of which is their new automatic platform optimization, which is bundled in with their WordPress plugin. So if you have their WordPress plugin installed, you'll see there's this feature called APO. They also announced a privacy first analytics solution through that week. So there's a few interesting things coming out of that particular birthday week. I don't know, have any of you had an opportunity to have a look at this APO yet?
No,
No.
I haven't yet.
No, not as yet. I saw it pop up on one of the news feeds that came through, but it's not something I've had a chance to have a look at or play with yet, no.
Yeah, I did have a little trial with it. I was using my sorely outdated website, personal website, danmaybe.com. And the idea here is this is, it's using the Cloudflare's workers. So it's creating a dynamically caching dynamic content to serve the website from the edge network. This was a before, so you can see there's a half a second, so 500 millisecond TTFB, so time to first byte, 0.9 of a second for the first paint. So reasonable figures. Now this was without the APO installed. This is served on actually via managed site through Cloudways on a $5 DigitalOcean droplet. So nothing, not expecting anything too spectacular here. Installed the plugin, literally a one click, and we can see we jumped from a 500 millisecond down to 160 millisecond TTFB, so a 340 millisecond saving on that TTFB. And also you can see that the first paint has jumped up from 0.9 to 0.6 of a second for that first paint. So for the sake of literally install, click, and off you go. Some reasonable savings.
And I know I've banged this drum about these things a number of times before, but the thing that you're not missing, but the other thing that the benefits when you do things like this is you're using up less CPU resource on the delivery. You're sending less down the band, less bandwidth is being used. So in a green environment, you're probably going up a step in terms of the work that you're doing. So any of these changes are good. And it may be only tiny incremental amounts, but they all add up.
Totally, absolutely. I mean, this is, if you've got a fairly static site, if you're not doing a great deal with it, if it's a bit of brochureware, then something like this, you're having the contents, that content served at its closest point of origin. So it's a really interesting solution. It's always quite exciting to see what they're coming up with and how they're implementing it.
It just reminds me, in a way, we were going all full circle to going back to Squid Proxy and other things that were all there because we had slow bandwidth 56k modems, and you were trying to put everything close enough to the edge because that's all you had. And then we became, I wouldn't say lazy, but complacent that we had a lot more bandwidth. And it's actually good to be able to start returning to old ways to make things better.
Yeah, that's true. You had to be disciplined when you didn't have a choice. Then we were very disciplined about image sizes and when you would grow up with a ZX81 which only had a certain amount of kilobytes of memory, you were able to write a game in that to run. Who remembers when you only had 256 colors on the web?
256. Oh, that was luxury.
Absolutely. And I mean, actually, all part of this is going to come in relation to Leo's talk this afternoon. The use of GraphQL and moving away. We obviously had our session last week from Michael Burridge talking about frontity and moving towards this, using static sites for dynamic content, and it's a really interesting space. But I thought this was an interesting solution that really doesn't take a great deal to implement. And for the sake of, I think it's a $5 a month fee for APO, it's certainly worth taking a look at and seeing, can you save yourself some bandwidth? Can we take another little step to help the planet, as Leo's pointed out? Just wanted to give this a mention. I don't know if any of us have had an opportunity to play around with this yet. Q. So if you look at the README file on GitHub there, you'll see it just says Q, WordPress FSE Playground theme. So the concept here is a new theme for taking advantage of Gutenberg's full site editor. I thought it was interesting. Justin Tadlock had written up in WP Tavern specifically about this. He said, on the whole, full site editing remains a frustrating and confusing experience. He then followed this up saying, however, Q is an interesting theme to explore at this point for both end users and theme developers. It kind of falls back onto some of the conversations we were having last week or the week before around giving clients access to editing their sites and where this is going.
Yeah, I know that I said I'm all for, absolutely, for clients being able to edit their sites and having ownership of their sites. But I did have a bit of a problem with, because I hate that in page builders as well, with adjusting every margin and every padding, so that. But then, as Leo said, that's how they learn. They take a beautiful site, they destroy
They
it,
wreck it.
they wreck it with their inconsistent margins, but then that's how they learn. So so maybe I have to be more tolerant.
There was an absolute fascinating. There was a fascinating thing I read. I don't think I covered it last time, but they were it was in a different sphere. But they were talking about the fact that in the late 90s, out came clip art, and literally everybody then thought that they were a graphic designer because they could slap clip art onto a piece of paper and print it. But from that beginnings, people learn how to use things and learn how to construct things.
That's right.
My feeling is sometimes, and we're all guilty of it, sometimes we lock a website down too hard and then wonder why we then find that our clients just literally throw us the stuff to do all the time, and we don't do it, and they don't do it themselves. It's like because we haven't given them the tools to do it. And maybe they will go off piste. Also, sometimes they come out with stunning things that you would have never thought they would have done, but it's just finding that level.
That's right. That's right. And actually, speaking on that level and enabling clients and enabling individuals to get in and start editing, we would be remiss to not mention the Page Builder Summit, which is currently happening. It's happening this week. If you hit summit.camp to find out more details, these talks, these sessions are available right now for free. So feel free to head over and just consume the content that's going on there. There's a long list of great speakers happening.
I think
Nathan,
It's some good talks as well.
Yeah, I think you've been
Quite
in a couple of you've been in some of those, haven't you, Paul?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, quite enjoyed them. Just having it playing in the background while I'm doing some work and stuff. And there's been some good talks. Yeah, absolutely. It's a good variety as well.
Yeah, it's not just about page builders. It's also about the use and delivering your business with it. But there is the core
Absolutely. Oh yeah, there's been a good variety. There's a good variety of talks. Elliot from ACF did a good talk this morning, actually.
Excellent. And moving on from that, we've then got the WP Agency Summit happening next week. So WPAgencySummit.com, 12th to the 16th of October. Again, I highly recommend getting yourself over there, registering for this. Get yourself a free ticket. A lot of great quality content being produced here. Another friend of Big Orange Heart, Jan Koch, who is leading this, and again, really recommend taking a look at the sessions that are coming up there.
I think the big difference, if you're trying to see the difference, the first one is about the building of the sites. The second one, this WP Agency Summit, Jan has definitely gone into the business end of what people do and how they produce and how they run their agencies. And I am expecting some fascinating insights to hear from other agency owners and how they work with their clients and what they do. And it's always a pleasure sitting there talking to Jan. The only problem is because he looks so good on camera, he makes us all look horrible.
Are you talking at WP Agency Summit?
I did do a talk. I did record. Jan's way of doing always is to record the talks in advance. So
I shall look.
I'm not sure it's got into the shortlist yet. So
I'm gonna check.
I don't know.
I'll give you notes. No.
We've got.
I'm here. I'm looking already. I'm definitely not on the front page of important people talking. So there you go.
That was understandable.
I just want to mention that we are
I am there.
Rapidly running out of time already.
Yep.
So very quickly, Gary has mentioned WPVIP is hiring. WPVIP.com/careers. I'm going to rattle through these next few slides really, really quickly because how on earth is it that time already? As I mentioned at the start, Big Orange Heart is a charity, registered charity. We are working to help try and reduce social isolation at this time when we're in a time when we cannot necessarily come together physically. we are happy to announce that both PHP London and PHP Leads are now being delivered through this platform that you are currently in at the moment. So we wanted to mention, if you are an event organizer, we have this platform, we are making it available for you to use free of charge. So if you're interested in delivering your event through this platform, provided your events fit with the mission of our charity, and that is to support and promote positive wellbeing and mental health within the remote working community, then we can have a conversation to look at getting your event delivered through this. This and the other initiatives that we are delivering through Big Orange Heart obviously do come at a cost. We do deliver free wellbeing support as well as other initiatives through the charity. We would be very, very grateful for your support in the form of a donation. $10, £10, €10 a month really do make an incredible impact on what we're doing. Any one of those links, big.ht/10, add GBP or USD or EUR, depending on the currency that you want to make that donation in. We would really be very grateful if you could. Equally, sharing those links would be very much appreciated as well. Okay, I'm going to take these slides off, and we are now going to invite Leo on stage. Leo, where are we? Leo, would you mind inviting Leo on?
Hello, here I am.
Leo, thank you so
Hi,
much for
Leo.
joining.
Hi, Leo.
Hello.
So, you are a developer and writer. I love this statement. You're on a quest to integrate WordPress with innovative paradigms, including serverless PHP, server-side components, and GraphQL. I thought that was really very interesting, and I'm very much looking forward to your talk this afternoon, an introduction into a GraphQL API for WordPress.
All right. Thanks so much, Dan. Shall I start?
Yeah, we are just, if you could share your screen, we'll pull your slides up and we will hand the stage over to you.
All right.
Just while those slides are being shared, if we've got anybody out there that's interested in sharing a talk with us, big.ht/speak is your speaker registration form. Head over to there, drop in your details. It's not as scary as some may feel. Okay, I see we've got your slides ready to bring up. We're all going to drop out now. Yes, yep, we'll bring those up on screen. We're all going to drop off now. If you are watching this out on live.bigorangeheart.org, Leo is going to be running a live Q&A session at the end of his talk. So if you have any questions, drop them in the live chat. If you are watching on social, drop them in the comments. We'll be sure to get them up on screen afterwards. For now, Leo, the stage is yours.
Okay, thank you, Dan. All right, we're going to do this very quick. I think that we have like 10-15 minutes only. So I'll just show very quickly what this is, the slides, and then I will go to the WP admin and show you the plugin. How it works. So this slides is the API for WP. So what is an API? I explained this. Sorry, I have no time. But APIs in WordPress, we had two, the WP REST API and WP GraphQL. WP GraphQL is GraphQL, and I have an alternative plugin that this is what I'm going to show you today. So the WP REST API works with fixed endpoints. WP GraphQL works with giving you, you can actually request all the data that you need, and you will get exactly that. So in a way, it's much faster if you have a very complex query and you need to retrieve a lot of data from your post, and then for each post, the author, and then other associated data. One single query, you can bring all of the data that you need. So there's a problem in the way of thinking, is it this or that? Do I need to use WP REST API, or do I need to use WP GraphQL or GraphQL? Can I combine both of them? Well, I think that we can. And this is what I have been working on. I have a plugin. It's called GraphQL API for WordPress. It was released just a couple of months ago. And it's open source, of course. So you can check it out. The URL is github.com/GraphQL API/GraphQL API for WP. So I'm going to switch to my WP admin. I believe here we are. Can you see my WP admin, everyone? So yeah. So this is my WordPress site, and here I have a tab called Graphql API. And when I click there, this is what it is. It's basically a place to compose the query. And when I click on Run, here we have the results. As you can see, it's actually very fast. And here you can actually compose what you need. So in this case, I'm actually selecting users with a limit of 3 that I can provide in this inbox. Then the URL for each user, the post, and then for each post, I had the ID, the title. I can say also the excerpt, the URL, the tags, comments, and so on and so forth. Then we have the interactive schema. The interactive schema is the visualization of your database, and not just your database, but your entities in the database and the data model, how they relate to each other. So starting from the root, what you can actually see here are all the fields that you can query. So for instance, you can say, give me all the posts that we have here. And when you query for all the posts, what you get is an entity of the type post. And here you have all the information that you can get. For each post, you can get the author, the comments, the feature image, the content, the date, etc. Then for the author, it retrieves an entity of the type user. So this is mapping the WordPress database. And you can actually visualize it. You can actually play with it. It's very good to see what is the relationship between all the entities. Now, I have a feature called persistent queries, which is the combination of REST and Graphql API. So as I was mentioning before, REST has a fixed endpoint. So you basically create a URL, which is WP API / REST / posts, and you get all the data for the posts, okay? And you always have that fixed data. If you need to change that data, you will need to create another endpoint /posts for my homepage or something like that. I don't know. With GraphQL, what you have is that you can actually say, for each post, give me these fields, the content, the title, the ID, the URL, etc. So what I wanted to do is to combine both features to be able to provide a fixed endpoint that you can actually select all the data that you need and nothing else. And this is what is called persistent queries. So we're going to see one persistent query here. In this case, this one is called home data. This is a custom post type, and this is Gutenberg, as you can see. So the same input that I had shown you before, this is called the graphical, which is the query to retrieve the data from GraphQL. If you click here in the docs, you can also see the documentation. You can see all the fields. You can explore the data. And this is an endpoint that we can actually publish. So I can see the document here. This has a URL. And if I click on this URL, and I change to this tab, we are basically getting that data that we got. But this has a URL now. So you can actually input this URL into your application. You can give this URL to your clients, and it has the data that they need and nothing else. So this is the combination of GraphQL and REST, and it's extremely powerful, I believe. So let's see what else do we have here. I have like a couple of minutes more, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time. Access control lists. There's a problem on REST, which is that it's very difficult to give a very granular control on which fields you want to give to your clients. Maybe you want to give the field my account only if you're logged in. And you need to actually check, am I logged in, yes or not? And those things, they take a bit of effort. With access control, you can define field by field who can access this field. In this case, we have two fields, status and e-status. If I click here, I can actually add other fields, as many as I want, from all the different entities. And here, then, I can actually say who can access this data. In this case, I have users with any of these roles, editor, author, contributor. Or I can also say logged in users or not logged in users. And once I update this, then my GraphQL or my endpoint will naturally have these roles, these user permissions. And if a person doesn't have the option to visualize any of these fields, then they will actually get an error and say, please, you have to log in to enter this, to visualize this content. Oops. And this is the last thing that I'm going to show you because unlikely we don't have much time. Cache. We can cache this. I can generate a caching strategy for my application and another one for my website. So I can say, whenever you access the URL from the type, from a custom post or a page or a post or post tag, all of this, I want the cache to be 3,600 seconds. And this works because of the endpoint that we are now accessing GraphQL through the fixed URL. So in that URL, I can cache. I'm caching on the CDN. And then after 3,600 seconds, only then the page will be purged and the new content will be visible. So once again, this is combining REST and GraphQL. You get the speed from REST in the sense that it's cacheable because you have the URL, but you compose the query using GraphQL. So yeah, I don't think I have much more time. Oh, and the other thing is that everything that I'm actually showing you now, here, the graphical, this editor is in my WP admin. So it's secure. Nobody can see your data. If they want to see your data, if you want to actually make it accessible or available to your users, you need to come to the settings. Or actually, sorry, I need to go to the modules. There are like quite a few modules that I'm making available. Yeah, quite a few here. And there's one which is called single endpoint. We're going to enable the single endpoint. Now it is enabled. And now I have the public graphical. Here we are. So now this URL, which is your website.com/graphical, now you can give this to your clients, and your clients can actually play with the data. They can visualize information, and once again, they have user permissions. Maybe you can select what fields they can access. Some other fields you're like, no, you cannot access this other field. And they can also visualize the schema with all the data. And this can be customized. So you can make, if your client is logged in, you can have the product that they can buy and that is visible. And if they're not logged in, then that entity in the database is not visible. You have very granular control. So I think this is pretty much it. I ran out of time. Whoops. If you check the slides, I have videos.
Leo, if you want to go through your slides, we do have time.
On all of the screens. Custom endpoints, you can check out. There's a Vimeo video, persistent queries, access control lists, cache control, deprecation, API hierarchy. So this is awesome for Gutenberg blocks. If you're coding your Gutenberg block, you need to retrieve data. This is the best way to do it because you can customize what data you want to get. You can say only a certain kind of user can get your data. You have absolute control. It's also very good for interacting with cloud services. The idea is that you can actually have GraphQL be the gateway to fetch information from a third-party API. Google Translate, you need to translate some the post content, the post title, you can actually do it through GraphQL. And this way, you can have your WordPress site interact with all of the different clients around. If you have a React application, a Gatsby, a mobile app, or Vue, or whatever it is, you can actually use it to interact with them. So it was released just 2 months ago. It's a baby. The URL is github.com/GraphQL API/GraphQL API for WP. It's open source, and I rely on you guys to help me spread the news. So please, if you like it, give it a star on GitHub. Of course, use it, fork it, share it with your friends, talk about it, tweet about it. One parting thought, GraphQL for everybody. I think this is a very powerful technology. WordPress is going to benefit a lot from this. I see it has a lot of potential, and I think that once you start playing with it, you don't want to go back. So please check it out. Now we have a Q&A, I believe.
Awesome, Leo. Thank you so much. If you wanted to, we could give you a few more minutes if you wanted to go back over some of the slides. I appreciate you skipped forward there to try and save some time, but you're more than welcome to have the stage if you wanted to spend a few more minutes going over them. Can you hear me, Leo?
Oh, I cannot hear.
You can't. Can you not hear me?
I can hear you now. Sorry.
You can hear now. Okay. I was just saying, if you wanted, we do have a few more minutes. If you wanted just to go back, I appreciate you skipped over some of those slides quite quickly there. We started a little bit later than planned. If you wanted to go back and cover off some of that earlier stuff, we do have a few minutes if you wanted to.
I can explain about it. I mean, normally in my slides, I try to make this beginner friendly. GraphQL is a technical technology. Not everyone knows how to use GraphQL, and some people are actually scared about it. But it doesn't have to be the case. Actually, once you start playing with it, it's easy. The thing is, how do you start playing with it? And one of my aims is to make it easy for everyone to use it, because this is WordPress. Like, WordPress is made for everyone: bloggers, marketers, salesmen. So then for me, the key was, how do we do the same with GraphQL in WordPress? So everything I've shown you was all through a user interface. There is no code. There is a code. I mean, when you retrieve the posts, there is a function in PHP that is executing that. But I didn't have to show this to you. If you need to create an endpoint to retrieve your data, you go to the user interface, you create a new custom endpoint, and you select the fields that you need. You click publish, and you generate the endpoint. No coding. And so I think that the power is that it combines the idea that is accessible for everyone coming from WordPress with the power of making data available coming from GraphQL. It's like making data, it's democratizing access to data, combining the two concepts in a way.
I love that. I've actually had an opportunity to use the plugin myself, and I got a local site, spun up a local WordPress site with a local Gatsby install, and the two, sending the data from, or using the data from the WordPress instance in the Gatsby install, using this plugin made it incredibly straightforward in terms of that visual UI, so in terms of the creating and the using of the data. So I just want to personally say thank you, obviously, for the work that you've done around this plugin.
Thank you. But the one that you're using is WP GraphQL, which is my competitor. But anyway, but it's wonderful. I mean, there's no competition here. We can all be friends. I mean, I think that WP GraphQL is a great plugin. I'm not making mine out of a need because that one is not good. I'm making mine only because I think it's better, but well.
I think that's always the case with these things, with these technologies. When we move into a new area, we need different people doing different things on these technologies with different ideas of how to deliver them. I'm really interested in this because I feel that where I came from, in a background where I was using websites which publish and do static publishing, the idea and the concept of people being able to talk straight to the back end of the database is very, very alien, because it doesn't really scale very well. And that's always been a problem with WordPress, is it may look beautiful, but it doesn't scale very well when you allow lots and lots of traffic to the back. Doing something like this, which you put together, Leo, gives us an ability, or gives it to the hands of people so that they can actually cache various different elements and not have to rely on massive access, both in terms of technology, scalability, and obviously security.
Yeah, actually, that's the case. The cache, it's wonderful. I mean, they say the fastest website, or the fastest access to a resource, is the one that you do not have to do. When it is cached, first on the browser, then on the CDN, then maybe on the server, and eventually you hit the live server. Okay, you have that way to make your website as fast as possible. The caching is the most important part for me. Like just now, you were talking about Cloudflare, right? Cloudflare just now put a caching as next to the user as possible. this is the same. You can actually cache the GraphQL query on the Cloudflare side because it's just a URL.
It's great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think we've had a question in, haven't we, Dan?
Yeah, let's just pull that up. Alan has asked a question. Leo, is the data stored in normal WPSQL tables and accessed via GraphQL, or is GraphQL the data storage tool too? I've used GraphQL as a database platform.
Yeah, GraphQL is only the interface to access the data. It's not storing any data in a different way. Everything is WP post, WP users, WP comments. It's just retrieving the data. Something else, GraphQL is an interface. There is an abstraction on the GraphQL, on the WordPress database. So in my GraphQL model, a post and a page do not necessarily need to be the same entity, because in WordPress you have the custom post that is the base for everything, even for media, for images. But if you think about it as data, it doesn't make a lot of sense that a media is a post. So in GraphQL, you can actually abstract this, and then you can actually get the data in a better representation without paying attention to the implementation details from WordPress. So it becomes a bit cleaner.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Out of interest, can you, are there any major plugins that we may be aware of across the community that are accessing data or using data, via GraphQL at this stage?
From my plugin, no. I just released it 2 months ago. So if anyone wants to create a plugin, sure. And from WP GraphQL, there is a plugin I saw for WooCommerce.
Mm-hmm.
They have a plugin for logging in with JWT.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a plugin with ACF.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, Leo, this is your plugin now that's on the screen, is it?
Yeah, that's the one.
Brilliant. I'm definitely going to have a play with this. I think it's fantastic. And I think it's a wonderful sentiment as well that you said, democratizing data.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Leo, I just want to say a huge thank you. I appreciate you giving your time to be with us today, to share your experience. Obviously, you've given a lot of time to create this plugin as well. So I really appreciate you giving into the community in the way that you have. And also just want to apologize. Obviously, we're a little bit later in starting, and obviously you've ran through your talk rather quickly. Will you be able to join us in the social after the event?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, I guess if anybody does have any further questions or wants to dive in a bit deeper with Leo, we're going to be over in live.bigorangeheart.org/social in a moment. But for now, Leo, I want to thank you for joining us and being with us this afternoon. We shall see you in the social very shortly. We're just going to wrap up now, but for now, thank you very much.
Thank you, Leo.
Thank you, Leo.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent. Okay. Thank you all for joining us. If you are currently on live.bigorangeheart.org, we're going to head over into the social. There's a link at the top of the page. Just wanted to quickly mention a couple of things before we wrap up. The events platform has had a lot of work around it recently to specifically enable individuals that do not use a mouse to access the event itself. So the video conferencing solution that we are utilizing within our virtual tables can now be accessed via the keyboard only. We did this based on feedback that we received from you, the community. So any feedback that we receive is taken on board, and we try to ensure that we can implement the advice or the changes that are requested. If you are on the site at the moment, then there's a link at the top of the page to feedback. There's a simple form on there that we'd love to hear from you. It would help if I had that link up. If you are on social, then big.ht/feedback will get you to the same form. We'd really appreciate hearing from you. I've got all out of sync here. Just want to say a quick thank you again to our sponsors, Automatic, Cloudways, Dolly, Funnel Packs, Weglot, Winning WP, WPM UDev, and Yoast. big.ht/thanks if you want to help us by thanking them for their support of Big Orange Heart. We'll go back to feedback now.
Yeah, don't add that in the feedback.
Yeah. The feedback from most people this month will be, why did he keep showing us the feedback link?
Feedback. That's it.
Feedback, get it right. Next event coming up will be another full WPLDN. So we're back to an evening event which will happen on the 29th of October. We've got Mario and JJ are going to be joining us as speakers. Mario will be asking the question, does the perfect theme exist? That's going to be an interesting one interesting to hear and interesting take on the answer to that one. Our next WPLDN daytime will be happening on the 12th of November. So same time, 1 p.m. UK time. One of the questions that we want to ask, and we would really appreciate hearing from you, either in the social right now, either in on the comments on social media, or on our feedback form.
Where is that feedback form, Dan?
Yeah, we haven't covered that one.
Yeah.
Do you want to see the WPLDN daytime continue? Now, we started delivering this. Can you believe this is now 6 months we've been doing these daytime events? We started, the concept was actually born out of Leo, who's on screen with us now. We talked about the idea of being in front of our screens in the evenings. Obviously, in this current situation, a lot of people are having to spend a lot more time in front of the screens and at home. The idea of the event eating into our evenings as well. So we wanted to deliver something that people could access throughout the daytime. But we need to continually make sure that it's fit for purpose and make sure that what we're doing for you, the community, is right. So again, we'd love to hear from you what your thoughts are on the daytime events. Do you want to see them continue? Do you think we've come to a natural end of them? So please, we'd love to hear from you on that. We're going to head over to the social over in Big Orange Heart, live.Big Orange Heart right now. It would be great to see you over there. Great to continue the conversations for a while. And thank you all very much. I'd just like to wrap up by saying thank you to Paul, Diane, and Leo for being with me on screen this afternoon.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
Other than that, I think we just need to maybe have a bit of a cheesy wave and say goodbye.
It's that, isn't it? It's that.
Thanks all. See you soon.